Hartford and the Hartt School. We're so pleased to once again congratulate you on your acceptance to our fine institution. I know a number of you have deposited as well, so a double congrats. We're very excited to have you joining our community of artists here. This session, really what we're looking to accomplish is to give you a better sense of what the Hartt School has to offer, and in particular our theater program, have a little bit of a deeper dive, have a chance to answer some questions that you might have. And speaking of which, if you are an attendee here on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see there's a Q&A section there and a chat section. So please put questions in and we'll field those as they come up. The name of the game here is that we want to just be organic and informative, responsive, but most of all, like any good artist, we want to have some fun, spread a little joy around during that time. So we're going to lead this off by just providing some short introductions to our panelists. Again, to all of our panelists, thank you for being here today. Thanks for giving the time. And we're excited to hear what you have to say about the theater program and your experiences here at Hartt. We've got faculty, staff, and students who I know are all going to express some of their deep joy for our program, but also provide you with some great detail that I hope will answer some of your questions today. So without further ado, we're going to get the ball rolling. Again, my name is Noah Blocker-Glynn, Associate Dean of Admission here. And I'm going to ask each of our panelists to do the same, introduce themselves, just your title, or if you're a student, what year you are and what major, and if you could tell us what you love most about Hartt. So why don't we start with Bob Davis? I see you at the top of my screen, so I'm zeroing in on you. It's your turn.
Hi, yes, Bob Davis. I'm on the faculty in the theater division. I teach in both the actor training and the music theater program. I teach voice and speech and acting and direct plays. I'm also an associate dean in the Hartt School, so I get to work with students all across the school. And I think the thing that I love most about the Hartt School is that we're a school of the performing arts. We do it all, and our students work with each other across many different disciplines, which I think is extremely valuable. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Bob, so much. Robin James, you're next up on the list here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robin James. I'm one of the assistant directors of admission at the University of Hartford. So I do all the academic reviews, and if you guys have any questions regarding things outside of the Hartt School, so anything about residential life, dining, student life, anything like that, make sure to type your questions in, and I'll be kind of hanging out in the background and answering those for you as we go along today.
Great. Thanks so much, Robin. Paige.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paige Bhave. I am a musical theater senior. I graduated in May, class of 2020. And my favorite thing about Hartt is the passion and love that each student, faculty, and staff member have for the performing arts in any discipline.
Great. Thank you so much, Paige. Christopher?
Hello, everyone. I'm Christopher Rowe. I am a junior actor training major. And I think the thing I love the most about Hartt is how ready and able the faculty is to prepare you for the professional world, and just how supportive faculty and students are.
Great. Thanks, Christopher, for that. Debi Markowitz.
Hi, everyone. I'm Debi Markowitz. I'm the production stage manager at the Hartt School, so I get to oversee all of you when you get to do the backstage work your freshman year. And I think the thing I like most about the Hartt School is that especially the theater division has such a close-knit relationship with the faculty and students together. And it's, as you know, kind of reiterating what Chris said, very supportive group.
Wonderful. Thank you. Tracy?
Hi, my name is Tracy Moore. I teach in the theater division. I teach both acting classes and music theater classes. Sometimes I direct, and I direct the showcase each year. So we have that to look forward to. I say what I love about Hartt is pretty much the students. Each of them is unique and they each bring something special to the program, and their energy and their light and their life gives me hope for the future of theater.
Wonderful. Thanks, Tracy. And last but certainly not least, Alan.
Hello, all of you excited young actors. My name is Alan Rust. I'm the artistic director of the theater division. And as with some of my colleagues, I teach acting, and I teach in music theater acting as well, voice and speech, so forth. I direct. The thing that I really love about being here is the opportunity, along with the distinguished colleagues that I have, to welcome all of you young actors into this extraordinary profession and art form that I've spent my life being a part of. It's thrilling. And every year when we see new actors, we invite new actors to join us, it gets even more thrilling. So I wish you well, and I hope we'll be together in August. Together in August, one room.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing how much we've all been able to adapt our art form and the instruction of students during this remote time. It's certainly not ideal, but I think across the board, our faculty and our team here at Hartt are realizing that the connectivity to students has been really valuable, albeit remote. I wonder if of the faculty staff, and even Paige or Christopher as well, if you could just give a little sort of summary of what you've experienced remotely so far. I see Paige is gesturing to Christopher, maybe. Christopher's gesturing to who knows?
Yeah, it's been very interesting, very difficult, but I think it just goes to show how much Hartt is ready to accommodate and to push through all of the hurdles that come our way. And the faculty has been really great with online classes and just making sure that we're okay. And it's a really supportive space in a very difficult and trying time. But I think we're managing and we're doing pretty well.
Great. Thank you for that. And faculty staff, Paige, otherwise?
Absolutely. I think, especially as a senior, it's been difficult for us. But I will say that the teachers that we have this semester have been responsive to our needs and what we vocalized that we needed from them, and they help us with giving us master classes of people in the industry, giving us opportunity to see what's actually happening in Broadway and off Broadway, and for cruise ships and performers and producers and agents. So it's nice to be able to extend to the broader community of performing arts. And the professors have done well in keeping us in a routine with our work, especially with current trends and the study of the history of theater and all of that, really keeping us engaged and reading plays and reading shows and letting us know that we're still getting our education despite the circumstances of the pandemic. So I think they've done a phenomenal job.
Great. Well, thank you. Go ahead.
One of the things that I've done, I teach a career prep class, and it has been wonderful to have a lot of our alums who are working on Broadway or who are producers or agents. They have been so willing to come in and talk to the seniors about what this all means for the industry, what this means for their career. So I feel like they're getting prepared for what's coming next by people who are actually out there doing it right now. And everyone, all of our alums have been so generous with their time to come and talk to the students.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Tracy, for that. And actually, that's a wonderful segue into our first question that we have here from one of our attendees. Before we dive into that question, I just want to remind our attendees that we can't see you. What we see is our Hollywood Squares panel of our panelists. So the best way for you to be able to interact with us is to ask lots of questions through the Q&A window that's here, and ask away. Right, this is a great forum for that. But the first question that's come in is, can you speak about the connections as regionally and to the surrounding cities like New York City and Boston?
Sure. Well, we're halfway between New York and Boston, so there's a great connection there. I think one of the many advantages, but one of the important ones for our program is the fact that we're just about a 2-hour drive outside of New York, so that our students, particularly, well, not particularly, but many of them come from other parts of the country, become acclimated to what New York is about in terms of the industry and the profession that they're preparing for. So they go in and out, and they practice auditioning, they get to see things. And as Tracy said, it allows us to bring in so many different members of the profession who are anxious to drive up here and talk to students who are entering their profession. I think that's really important. In terms of regional, as you may know, we have professional partnerships with the Hartford Stage Company, which is right in Hartford. It's one of the premier regional theaters in America, having produced a number of plays that have gone on to Broadway. It's able to attract the highest level of performing artists, as well as design directors into the theater. Our students participate there in their productions, and they also get to go to all of their productions as part of our partnership, so they get to see some of the best theater that's being produced in the country throughout the year. We also have a relationship with what I would call an off-Broadway sort of venue size theater, but certainly it's the quality of the work is as good as it can get. It's called Theater Works. We have a number of students that intern there. We've had students perform there. We've had students understudy there. It's a really incredible theater of the highest quality, and we're very blessed to be able to be a part of that and to benefit from it. And just down the road from us is the Goodspeed Opera House, where the Goodspeed musicals take place. It's one of the very top musical theaters in America. And all of our seniors perform there in their new play works. Plus, they get to go see the top level of performing artists in magnificent shows throughout the year. So in terms of the region, we're in an ideal place, which is also, I think, why we're able to attract such a magnificent faculty. Everybody likes to be around the industry the way we are.
Of course. Well, thanks for that, Alan, and diving into that a little bit more. And speaking of the faculty, we've part of today's session is really getting a deeper glimpse into some of the sort of more core elements of the work that happens in the studio. And I wonder if we could take just a minute to answer a question, but also to hear a little bit more about what each of the faculty, what you do, right? What's the sort of thing that what's your niche work? What do you offer this program in particular? Debbie, do you mind starting off?
Sure. So as freshmen, you will be the ones who deal with stage managing, assistant stage managing, crew of our shows. There's between our second year projects and our ticketed shows, we could do up to 20 shows a year. And there's only one me to be a stage manager. So you guys get to be a part of that process. And what's wonderful is you get to sit in on those rehearsals when you're working those shows and learn from those directors and see a whole rehearsal process. I also teach stagecraft, so you get to know things about the technical theater and the idea of what you need to know as an actor with technical theater. I'm not wanting you to know how to put together a light board from scratch, but so that you could be a more well-informed actor when it comes to the technical side.
Fantastic. And some of the work that you do, Debbie, is student advising. That was actually one of the questions that we had here in the chat box is specifically wondering when we get our class roster and how much leeway we have in picking classes, knowing that 90% of our classes are already chosen for us.
The first semester, Megan Abernathy, is part of our new Student Success Center, is the freshman advisor for all of Hartt, and she'll be working on those schedules and with the orientations. There's not freshman year a lot of, as you said, 90% of the stuff where you will be kind of informed what you're going to be doing in your acting sections and voice and speech. And then after that freshman year, either myself or Anne-Marie Davis, who's on our faculty, we swap out years of what classes we're advising. And it's very much, we know the program, so you're going to definitely get advisors who are specifically wanting to help you succeed in this program. It's not someone that deals with 1,000 people in the university in general. Great.
And while you were talking about the technical theater elements, we did get another question specific to that. If a student is especially interested in the technical aspects of theater, can they be participating in the tech side during the freshman year?
That's what you will be doing freshman year. You will be working on shows, usually around 2 a semester. There's 2 classes. There's the stagecraft class I mentioned. If you're in my class, in that class in the fall, you'd be stage managing or assistant stage managing, and you swap that for wardrobe and makeup, which would take place the opposite semester, and then you'd be on a costume crew or a lightboard operator. So you definitely get some backstage experience, again, in the order to help you learn as an actor about the process.
Great. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks so much for that. Tracy, you want to share with us what you do and maybe dive a little bit into the showcase? We did get a question about that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And Paige can help me out as well because she's been involved in it. We do have a senior showcase every year in the spring, and it's in New York. And all of the seniors, both the actor trainers and the music theater trainers, participate in that. And we usually do 2 performances. We also do a performance for the students at Hartt, and we also generally do a performance for parents during the graduation weekend in case they want to see it. So everyone performs. Music theater students sing and sometimes dance, and the actor trainers do a monologue or sometimes a scene. And then the audience is made up of casting directors and agents and managers, and sometimes producers and directors who have heard about Hartt's excellent reputation or come every year or have worked with a Hartt student and a Hartt student has invited them to the showcase. And I don't know, Paige, what else can I say about this?
Everything you said was spot on, but also as a student, I appreciated having people come in to help us with our showcase. So we work closely with an agent in the city. He's actually an alum from the musical theater program here at Hartt. And he brought in his colleagues and friends in the business. So they were able to work with us at an eye level and bring in a fresh take on our pieces and how we market ourselves on stage and how the little things we do on stage, how we dress, how everything has to match. And it was nice to have people in New York City in the industry sending people out for auditions, watching auditions, giving us their feedback in a professional manner. And it's a great way to enter into the city already meeting these people. I really enjoyed that, and I learned a lot from it, actually. Yeah.
So Showcase is somewhat tied to the career prep class. So students have prepared websites, and a lot of them have made reels and put themselves on tape. And so when we have the showcase, all of that information is offered to the people that are in the audience. And then they let us know who they would like to call back, either for an audition or for an agent or manager meeting. And then the students sort of get launched into their careers in New York from there.
Great. Thank you very much for that. We've got a whole slew of questions coming in. Thanks so much for these. And I'm trying to categorize them and see if we can't get our panelists involved, equally across the board. Bob, I've got one for you. If you, I think for you, let me see what we can do here. If you can give a little bit of insight about how in-depth the film training is within the actor training program.
It's one of the areas of our program that has really been growing very quickly. I think one of the great things about the program is that we continue to build our curriculum to match the changes in the industry. And as there's been more and more film work, more and more online content, the need for actors to be comfortable in front of a camera has grown. So we've added more coursework in acting for the camera. And we're also building other programs that are still kind of under construction. I had the good fortune to go out to California in February. We have two of our alums who work at the Disney studios out there. One is one of their directors of casting, in fact. So we're beginning to work with him to build ways in which we can help students understand not just about acting in front of the camera, but also the industry itself, which is different from theater and the way you build your career in the film world. One of the things he was mentioning to me was just the importance of your presence on social media. And how in the casting world in film and television, they often look at your social media to get to know you better. So how students develop that with that in mind, I think is part of what's going on now in career prep and is going to continue to be building in our program in the next few years. So yes, we're very interested in it. We've added a whole new course in it recently, and students are also getting more experience with doing self-tape auditions, because that's also something that is growing more and more, as you probably know. Instead of going into an office to audition, you're sending a tape, and that helps you reach a broader audience with your audition work as well. So we do spend a good bit of time on that.
Great. That's fantastic. There's a couple of questions that I'd like to lump into one here for Alan next, and then we also have a question specifically for Christopher, I think. And yeah, right. So we'll launch into that one next. Alan, this is a twofer, and I think they go hand in hand. So one of the questions was really about how the Hartt School theater program is constantly evolving its curriculum to respond to the changing career environment. And the second part of that that I think lines up quite beautifully is how do you go about pushing your students? That's something I realized that I loved. I heard you guys push your students to be their best versions. So I think looking at curriculum and looking at students, I think there's a nice combination there for you.
There is. And as Bob said, we've just gone through actually about a 3-year process of revamping the curriculum so that it does match the industry. We took a great deal of time to research what was needed, and then we took a great deal of time putting it together, and now we're into it. This is really the first year where the new curriculum has taken hold. It's designed, as we've said, to support what's needed most in the industry. In terms of pushing, I like to use the word encouraging, but everything we do is about helping the students develop the skills and the craft that they need to to be part of that industry, not just in 4 years, but for the rest of their lives. This can be, and for many people is, a lifetime commitment to an art form. And so we're really preparing them to enter it and to be able to adjust to it and be able to, I think it's very important that eventually the young actors that we take into our program, and singers and dancers, become in time the people that help develop the evolution of the art form of the theater. They become writers, they become choreographers, they become directors. We had a graduate on the other day. We sort of had Tracy had put together an event where everybody could come and listen, and a young woman that was really wonderful when she was at school, but she's gone off and she's become, her career has taken all kinds of turns, all in the right direction. And you could see that she's part of a new development of the theater. The theater's what, 4,000 years old. It's one of the oldest things there is, but it will go on and on and on because we thrive on storytelling, but we tell the stories in different ways. So we encourage our students to be the best possible storytellers, and also to be a part of how that process will change. Like Bob said, when he's out in California, looking at what's happening out there. There's a difference between television, film, and theater in terms of carving out a career. So we encourage the students to be ready for all of that. And I always say to be ready and willing and excited about not just keeping it alive, but giving it new life at every turn. Does that sound right, Christopher? Paige?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much, Alan, for that. And Christopher, we've got a specific question for you, and then that was reiterated in the chat as well, just outside of the Q&A. But if you can talk a bit about the study abroad experience that.
Yeah. What can I say about London? Save your money. I would definitely save up. But look, it did two things for me. It helped me grow personally, and it helped me grow professionally. You spend 8 weeks in London studying at Drama Studio London, and you're doing a Shakespeare intensive, which is intense. But it was the best time of my life. I learned so much, and I had a lot of personal growth, a lot of personal challenges, just in the way of how I perceive myself as an actor, and then coming into a new environment where you're working with faculty members that don't know you and are meeting you for the first time, and you're so used to being at Hartt, which is a place where you've spent the last 3 years really growing and nurturing and building relationships with these faculty members, and then you go into a completely new place and it's scary and you experience a lot of self-doubt, but you experience a lot of growth. I think there's something to be said about training in Shakespeare in this world that we live in, because I think we're so used to acting things a certain way and looking at things a certain way. But London really, really showed me that there are many ways to do one thing, and just do what works well for you, and that there are people out there in the professional world that are ready to work with you. It just taught me how to be a really professional actor and how to carry myself in new situations and in new training fields. And it showed me that your training doesn't stop after these 4 years. I encountered a lot of professional actors at Drama Studio London that told us that they were still going and that they're gonna learn something new every time. So it just taught me how to be independent and to really just be open to new opportunities. And Shakespeare is awesome. It's awesome, and it's a really great time.
Can I just amend one little thing? When I said save your money, he meant save your money to enjoy London. when
Yes.
you're not in class. Classroom is part of your tuition. You don't have to do that.
Save the money for the pure enjoyment that you will want to experience.
Yes. Well, thank you for amending that, Alan. Thank you so much, and thank you, Christopher. What a great response. The next question is another twofer. Actually, I'd like to combine it for Paige and Christopher. And Paige, if you want to lead us off, that would be great. So the question here is, what's something you've learned while at the Hartt School that you'll take with you for the rest of your life? And the two-parter to that is, there's another question asking about what you wish you had asked before you showed up to the Hartt School for your first day.
Whoa, okay, those are some great questions. Wow. Okay, let me go with the first question. Something that I'll always take away from Hartt. Wow. A lot, but specifically, I feel that my time in Hartt with the students that have come and gone, that are there now, with the professors that are there now and who have come and gone, I think like to love myself as a person and a performer, to realize that my art and my performance is just an extension of myself. I've learned I've always been tough, but I've learned to have faith in myself and know that I can handle anything that comes my way. My time at Hartt, I've learned to accept love, which is something I wouldn't be able to say prior to Hartt. And I think that a lot of my education from the 4 years that I've been here, I learned more about life and of myself than I did about performing. And all I did was perform. And I was in class from 8:30 in the morning to rehearsals at 10:30 at night. And I'm not the same person I was before. And that surpasses anything of being a performer, I think. And the community that I have to take away from, that I'm leaving with me from Hartt, if that makes sense. I have a family in Connecticut and all over the United States. And that's that answer. I can go on forever. But I will say something that I wish I knew.
Or wish you had asked. Sorry.
Asked. Oh. Christopher, you want to, while I think of that answer, do you want to?
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything I wish I asked. I pretty much stalked this school before I auditioned, so I feel like I gathered as much information. I think maybe the one little thing I wish I asked, how at that time when I was auditioning, how in-depth film training was, and how much we would be getting. But that's really the only little thing. But other than that, I kind of,
Great. Well, thank you for that. Do you want to dive in? Maybe Paige, do you have something? I was going to see if you wanted to finish up with his, like, what are you going to take with you for the rest of your life? Your choice.
Do you want to answer that, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Two things: to trust myself as an actor and as a person, to trust my directors and my teachers, and just be open to things that will eventually and ultimately make me uncomfortable, and to know that my personal experiences don't define me, and that whatever struggles, hardships, crappy days I've gone through, that once I step into the rehearsal room or a studio to practice a monologue, that all of that crap is just behind me and that there's one thing always there to support me. And Hartt has really taught me how to create. And if I want to do something, then there's nothing stopping me from doing it. And to allow my voice to be heard and to stand up for myself and to advocate for myself and to really just be a productive member of society. And because at the end of the day, we are here to share stories that aren't always shared and to stare down really uncomfortable situations or really lovely situations and to kind of embrace that to its fullest extent.
Thank you. Paige, anything you wish you knew before coming to the Hartt School?
Not necessarily, but I was thinking, I remember my freshman year, I didn't ask, well, I just looked at the curriculum online. I came to Acceptance Students Day. I didn't tour, I didn't do anything. So I didn't know anything about productions, sophomore projects, the long days we would spend in HPAC. So I went in blind. So I wish I would have known how rigorous and intense the training was and how much I had to keep focused. But maybe not knowing was the best thing because it was like playing tennis. I just had to like catch whatever was next and not psych myself out. So maybe that was good.
I should say Paige didn't ask about those things, but she still managed to have a job and do a double major.
Yeah, she's right on that. But yeah, it worked in my favor. I never realized how much I was doing until I stepped away, and I was like, wow. But yeah, it's been a ride.
Great, thank you for that. Let's see, next question in. I'm loving the questions, by the way, for our attendees. So, keep them coming. It's much better than the static talking heads, I think. So thanks for that and for the interaction. Really quite wonderful. Let's see here. This question maybe best to Alan, if you want to jump in on it. It's a little bit of well, some folks have some questions a bit about getting involved in the technical aspects of the theater programming after the freshman year, which I know, Debbie, you talked a little bit about that. There's one that continues that portion, but then also if folks are interested, if they're musically, aren't you all musically inclined, I suppose, maybe, but if they're musically inclined, play another instrument of that sort, are there opportunities for them to be engaged elsewhere in Hartt and maybe even play in the pit?
That part, absolutely. A lot of students come having studied an instrument. All the music theater students have to study keyboard once they get here. And we have had students that have actually, usually in their first or second year, because they don't have time afterwards, been in the orchestra of some of our musicals. We also have at the Hartt School outside of the major college music training, there's what's called the community division of the Hartt School, where students can take from all over, can come and take private lessons in instruments and dance. Noah, you can obviously talk more about that than I. And students can do that as well. So you can keep that up. And you can keep it up at a rather distinguished school of music, as a matter of fact. In terms of technical, if you're talking about building scenery and that sort of thing, no, we don't teach that. The technical work that Debbie talked about is supporting productions. It's not, we have a professional scene shop, a professional costume shop, and we bring in all guest artists, professional designers to come in and work with our professional shops to build the scenery. It's not something that we teach, so it's not in the curriculum. That being said, we have had students, in some cases, will make it part of their work study experience, will help in some of the theaters, help the TDs of the different theaters load in, work on things. But in terms of the kind of training that you would get at a drama school where they taught that, that's not available to our performing arts students. We are looking at adding technical theater, and I think we probably will be, but then again, that will be for students that come specifically because of their interest in set design, costume construction, lighting, sound technicians, and so forth. It's not the kind of thing you would get at a liberal arts school where you can sort of work in all of these areas. So I have to be very honest about that. If you come here and you want to build scenery, this isn't the place to come. I hope that answers it. The question. All our resources go into performance.
Great. Yeah, I suspect that that does, Alan. Thank you. We've got two questions that have come in, I think in response to the sort of admiration of Paige's double major experience at Hartt. One is just talking about double majors and about that in terms of time management and really how easy or difficult is it to do that double major. Yeah, I think the other will fall into that category. So take it away.
I am a dual degree student, so I'm working out with two pieces of paper, a BA in psychology and a BFA in musical theater. It's doable. I'm here. However, it is time consuming and you need to really be dedicated for that. I came in as a transfer student, so I had a lot of university core credits that I had already taken care of. So I was able to take classes under those credits that were already built into the curriculum. I, however, did not stop going to school ever from my sophomore year on. I finished my sophomore year and I took summer classes, and then I went back in the fall, and then I took winter classes, went back in spring, took summer classes all over again. So I never stopped. I also had to pay extra to overload on credits. The curriculum now for musical theater is 18.5 credits a semester. Yes, 18.5 credits a semester. Sometimes, I think it was 2 or 3 semesters, I was at 25 credits, 23.5 credits. So it was a lot. And I also worked. The plus side is I'm walking with 2 degrees. Downside, I have stress wrinkles. I had to stay in the library to 2 o'clock in the morning as long as it was open after rehearsal. I wasn't able to hang out with my friends a lot of the time because I had to focus on my classes and my homework and getting that done. It's possible, but if it's just something that you're interested in getting a degree in English or psychology or math, unless you really want it and it's as important to you as the theater degree, get it. But that being said, theater will always come first. It would always be something you have to understand that, because theater is something it consumes you. You have to dig deep within yourself. You have to dig deep through text. You have to be able to connect with your classmates and your professors and voice teachers, movement teachers. So it's difficult, but it's doable. And you are going to be spending a lot more money than originally anticipated going into the university.
Noah, a lot of our students choose to do minors, which is extra work, but not quite to the extent that Paige was talking about. A lot of the students that come to the theater division have very good test scores or class rank or high school GPA or some combination of that. And so many of them participate in the honors program or choose to do a minor. So that's an option for some students.
Also, the minors are usually 18 credits, sometimes we're 21, which equals to about 6 classes. And you will, with the new tracking program, I believe you have 5 electives, so the minor might not, there might be a slight amount overload cost-wise, but really not that much, if any, depending if you have any transfer credits or stuff. So as Tracy said, the minor, you would work with your advisor to make sure that we can get that into your program.
Fantastic. Thank you all for that. And while we have you there, Debbie, would you mind talking a little bit about what some of the electives are that are available? I mean, some of the more popular electives, maybe that's a way to answer the question.
There's general electives throughout the whole university. So you could, a lot of popular ones were sign language. There's just a lot. It's basically anything in the university, and that's why they have the electives. So let's say you just have an interest in French, you can take French. But what's great about as Alan said, it's only been around a year that we're doing the new tracking system, is now there's electives that we're creating for Hartt students to take. It used to be that the electives were just academic electives and they couldn't also be Hartt classes. Now there's an acting through song for the actor trainer majors to do, but specifically for the actor trainers to do some music work. So they're constantly being created and approved what these Hartt electives will be. So who knows what will be in other years. But I found that communications is popular, the psych courses are popular. But again, it's the idea that this is a university. So we want to give students a chance that they just want to explore something, they can do that.
I just want to give a shout out for the new songwriting class. We have a class that is songwriting for musical theater. And so people are actually writing musicals and studying that, which is cool. And that's open to actor trainers and music theater trainers, either one.
Great. And thank you for that. And Tracy, and I think Paige, you're an honors student, right? No, I'm so sorry. Christopher, are you a university? Okay. So
Christopher started out as an honors student, but then he changed his mind.
I did.
So
Great.
honors is it's a program within the university, very compatible with the Hartt School degrees. You take 5 classes that you would already be taking, and you take honors sections of those classes. And then after you've done that, you get to do an independent project, and that can really be anything. Our students have directed shows, they've done cabarets, they've done evenings of new works, of dance works, they've made movies, they've they've just done some really amazing creative stuff. And that's sort of the capstone for the honors program.
Great. Thank you for that. And there's some pretty comprehensive, resources on the university website about the honors program. There's a director for the honors program in totality at the university. Contact information is there if you want to explore that in greater detail. It's available to you. There was a whole slew of questions here from our attendees, about 4 or 5 right in a row, that all involve dance, and for dance for the actor training students, dance for our music theater students, but then also a question about taking voice lessons on top of the programming for the AT students. So maybe the best place to start is, and I'm not sure who wants to handle this one, let's maybe talk about what the dance program looks like within MT, and then what those opportunities look like for AT students. And then maybe we can dive a little deeper into the voice side of things. I'm not sure who wants to handle that.
I'll take a stab at it. The dance structure for the music theater program starts with ballet and jazz in the first year, and then adds tap to that starting in the sophomore year. So ballet and jazz first year, and then ballet, jazz, and tap from then on. We have 4 levels of each dance discipline. So you will do an audition before school starts, and you'll be placed in whatever dance level is appropriate for your skill. And then you will work your way up through the levels. There is a buddy system with the dance division that if you go all the way through the ballet class, for example, with the agreement of the dance division director and Ralph Perkins, who's head of dance for theater, if they are cool with it and you are interested, you can take some dance classes with the dance division, which is the classical dance training program at the university. There is also for certain students, they may be eligible to take Martha Graham technique or even partnering. For the actor trainers, they take a year of ballet in the freshman year. They have a very intense movement curriculum that happens every single semester of their time here and involves everything from Suzuki to Alexander technique, physical work in devising theater, Laban, all kinds of things. They get combat and mask training. If they have room in their schedule and if there is available space in the dance classes, an actor trainer can take a dance class. And we have had actor trainers take tap or jazz, so that's a possibility. As far as the voice lessons for the actor trainers, those are not a part of their curriculum, but we do have some teachers that have available space in their studio. So an actor trainer can go to a teacher and ask to take essentially private lessons with that teacher. In the music theater program, the music theater students have a voice lesson with a private teacher every week, all 4 years.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I think that hopefully answered the lineup of questions there on the dance front. So thanks for that, Tracy. And of course on the voice front as well. We've got about 7 minutes left in our panel discussion. So if there's any other questions, now's the time to throw them in there for our attendees. But in short, before we start to sort of conclude, I wonder if you all might take an opportunity just to give a little one-off as to why Hartt? I mean, students have so many choices, right? These applicants have so many choices, and why is this the right one for them? I'll let you arm wrestle for who goes first, or just jump in as seems organic.
On my end, and Ellen touched briefly on this, you're not going to find a lot of schools that have a professional scene shop, costume shop with professional designers working for you on your shows. So that's something I think is very unique to our school.
Right. Anything else?
I would say the community, the training is top notch, and the passion. We are really a passionate group of people, and we love what we do, and we love and support each other. And that's something that I don't think I've seen in a while. So, Hartt has it. We really do.
Thank you very much.
I will say that one of the things I think Hartt does really well, and a reason to choose it, is we try to treat our students very individually. I know some students have told me that at other schools, someone will say to them, "Oh, we're going to make you the next Betsy Wolfe or the next, I don't know, Patti LuPone or whatever." But at Hartt, we want to make you the best possible version of yourself. So rather than making you into someone else, we really want to know who you are and to help you get to the top of whatever you are able to do.
I'll jump in. I just wanted to, Debbie said about the professional scene shops. you know, Alan earlier was listing the theaters that we have direct relationships with: Goodspeed, Hartford Stage, Theater Works. And that just is the tip of the iceberg in terms of the regional theaters that are just in this state alone. One of the things that really attracted me to come to Hartt as a faculty member was to be in a place where the arts are enjoyed, revered, honored in such a wonderful way. Hartford alone has several theaters of all sizes. It has a great big touring house where you can see recent Broadway shows. It has really experimental theaters that are doing really cutting edge things. It has a lot of dance. It has music. You know, and this is just Hartford. You go beyond Hartford, you get into many of the best regional theaters in the country, beyond the ones that we're immediately affiliated with. So that energy, I think, is pulsing through the place as well, and it makes it a really exciting place to be.
Thanks, Bob. Go for it, Paige.
Oh, so why Hartt? The student body is amazing. We support each other. It's not really competitive, because feeding off of what Tracy was saying, everybody's is an individual, and treated as such. The professors go above and beyond for students. There's a stream that goes right through the university campus. It's really pretty. And you can see it from the library. And you can walk over it. It's super cute. Also, the parties are fun. It's a great location. And yeah, it's nice. It's a little community. It's awesome. It's awesome. You feel supported from the second you walk in. So yeah.
I might add something, not add something to that, but I also think that one of the why Hartt over other places is the word itself, the name Hartt. In many places, the theater department is a program unto itself, removed from a dance school, removed very often from the music school. We're all part of one performing arts program that works together. We work very closely with the musical, with the music school, which started Hartt 100 years ago. And not just in terms of support in the orchestra for our musicals, but all of our plays, our non-musical plays, are assigned a student from the composition department, and they write scores for the plays, which I've never heard of anybody else doing, and it's thrilling to see happen. We collaborate with the dance school from time to time, and I think that it's a total performing arts school, all under one name, which I think is somewhat unique and certainly very positive. The other thing, very quickly, is obviously people are always interested in what plays will I get to be in. We do a lot. I think Debbie mentioned we can do up to 20, depending upon a given class. But we select the plays not just for the people that are in them, but for all of the other student actors who will see them, so that everyone's understanding, knowledge of the vast repertoire of theater is expanded. And sometimes in very challenging ways. We don't just do the things that are easy. We do plays, classical or modern, that are very challenging, so that as artists, the students are constantly being challenged in what was and what is going to be. I think that's, from what I see when I read Seasons and other theaters, somewhat unique.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alan, and thank you to all of the panelists for being here today and talking about your experiences and your love of the Hartt School. I certainly feel much more informed about the theater program and in a bit more depth. So thanks for that. For our attendees, you'll see in the chat window there is both Paige and Christopher's contact information. They were gracious to allow us to put that up. If you have questions, you'd like to talk with them about that, it is there. There was also a question about getting to experience the campus and the facilities and the programming virtually. I would encourage you to be in touch with us. There's opportunities to experience some classes remotely, but there's also a comprehensive virtual webpage it's specific to Hartt, and even more specific, there's a section there for the theater programming. So take a look at that. That's just at our website, hartford.edu/Hartt, H-A-R-T-T. Again, a huge thank you to our panelists and a huge congratulations to all of our accepted students and a huge welcome to all of our deposited students. We're so excited and thrilled to be inviting you and welcoming you to our community of artists. So without further ado, thank you so much. It's been lovely to talk with you all today. Again, thanks so much for the panelists, and we will see you all very soon. Thanks so much. Take care.
Bye.